Thank you for joining us this week on The Movie Jury. I am David Budo, and I'm stuck with a stump.
Christina Sima, who is stuck here with a Sasquatch.
Thank you very much to Cineplex Odeon, Varsity, and VIP Cinemas for allowing us to shoot here this week.
This week we're going to be reviewing Tangled,
Faster,
Made in Dagenham,
and Love and Other Drugs.
Now the great thing about Tangled is that it is wee your pants funny. You are going to laugh out loud at several of these scenes. Now this is a film brought to you by Disney Pixar, who also brought you WALL-E, which was nominated for an Oscar. And Disney does a really great job of building characters through visualizations. Now you're going to want to keep your eye out for a scene-stealing horse in this film, and also a villainess who channels Patti LuPone.
Tangled is Disney's latest animated offering, but unfortunately it does not work nearly as well as the films of the past. Why? One reason is Alan Menken's music in this one. It is not fun and it's not memorable at all. The actors do good work with the voiceover stuff, but in the end, they just didn't have the same personality as the horse and the chameleon, who had no lines but stole every scene they were in.
Okay, so I was really interested in what you had to say about Tangled. You didn't think it was that great.
No, because the characters don't have as much personality as I'd like. I've seen a lot more out of the characters before. And when a horse can overshadow everybody else...
But that's the great thing about it, though, right? I think unlike other Disney films where they have the animals talking, which kind of really brings me out of it, in this one, at least the animals aren't talking, but they have really vibrant characters, I think. I knew exactly who the prince was, and I knew exactly who the princess was, and knew exactly who the villainess was, and I think they visualized that really, really well.
I'm not saying that it was a bad movie in any way, fashion, or form, but standing up to the ones of the past...
It was wee your pants funny. It was really,
yeah, but you were only laughing at the horse and the chameleon.
Exactly.
I was dying at the chameleon.
Exactly. That's the best
but
part
beyond
of it.
that, the human characters didn't really make you laugh that much, and that's kind of an issue for me. Because in a film like this, you
I
need
don't know.
that.
I think that's kind of a gray area. I really liked the songs too. I thought they were catchy and they were cute. I think they did the
You
job.
weren't singing them on the way out. I wish I was. I love singing the Disney songs on the way out of the movie. It is a good movie for a family to watch, and they'll have a good time, but they're not going to want to watch it over and over again.
I doubt that. I think this film is going to be a hit at the box office. It's going to be a hit when it comes out on DVD, and I think it's going to crash some records.
Well, then what did you give it?
Solid A-.
I gave it a B-. Would have gotten a higher grade if the characters had more personality.
Faster has an all-star cast including Billy Bob Thornton, Dwayne Johnson, and Carla Gugino. It's a very highly stylized film with a very clear directorial vision. There's a lot of religious overtones and undertones, and the theme is of redemption. But the problem with it is that even though it's billed as an action thriller, many scenes land on the wrong side of cheese. So in the dramatic climax, the audience was laughing. Pure Velveeta.
Faster is an atrocious film. Because of George Tillman Jr.'s direction, this film takes itself way too seriously when it should be embracing its cheesiness and laughing at it. The script is unbelievably horrible, and the actors can't do much with it. The Rock should not be in movies where he has to play a serious character, even though they try to minimize the amount of words he had to speak. There isn't very much to say about this film at all. I only have negative things to say. What do you have to say?
I have absolutely nothing positive to say about this film. I mean, it was kind of interesting. They tried to make it a stylized film with some of the shots and the cinematography, as you spoke about, but it just lands on the wrong side of cheese. They're trying to go for B-movie snuff, but it's not funny, it's not cute, it's not clever, and it's definitely not action thriller.
The movie is not very long at all. Unfortunately, with those super long shots, you feel like you're there for 3 hours, and the actors couldn't read a line of dialogue properly.
Absolutely. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I think he should stick to wrestling. His acting, he's trying to be all intense. You know, I'm a tortured man who's looking for redemption, and it just didn't work.
The torture is listen to him trying to seek dialogue. It's the worst.
Bad
What'd
film.
you give this?
D.
D-. Wouldn't have gotten an F if the lighting wasn't decent.
Made in Dagenham is a funny, heartwarming, family-friendly film. But unlike other films that tackle the same subject matter, like North Country or Norma Ray, the struggle feels a little too easy apart from the occasional husband hissy fit. I think that diminishes the struggle of the real women of Dagenham, but keep an eye out for Bob Hoskins, who steals every single scene that he's in.
I like Made in Dagenham. Why? It's a story that's been told many times before, but fortunately for us, the director and writers do a really good job of telling it. As well, there's some fantastic performances by Miranda Richardson, Sally Hawkins, and most of all, Bob Hoskins. Sweet old man that you just love to watch. The emotional scenes, the comedy, it's all there, and it's something you want to see more than once.
Now, I agreed with you that this is a really clever film. It's really smart, it's really funny, it's really heartwarming, it's really endearing. But when you compare it to other films that tackle the same subject matter, like North Country, like Norma Ray, I kept waiting for, a bad guy to try and run her off the road, or her husband to try to beat her up when he's drunk. Nothing really major happens here. And so it felt like the struggle was just too easy for me.
I could see what you're saying, and while I wouldn't put it up with a movie like North Country or Norma Ray, I still think it's a film to watch, and it's actually a really relevant film because a lot of people don't know this story. And I think it's one that was told well enough that you can be engaged for the amount of time that it's running.
Well, that's very true. I think that this is a story that, while it's been done before, I don't think that it's done enough. I think this is a really important story for a lot of people to see, and it's great for the kids to see, to learn about this type of thing. So what would you give it?
I gave this a solid B+.
I would give it a solid B+ as well. Love and Other Drugs follows the same tropes and formulas as other derivative rom-coms. But what sets it apart is that this is finally a rom-com for adults, not for teenagers. There's a lot of sexuality, a lot of nudity, and it tackles the themes of death and disease, resulting in some very heartwarming and poignant scenes.
Love and Other Drugs can be compared to so many films of the past, but it holds its own by telling two stories at the same time. The reason this film will sell itself, though, is Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway's performance in this film. They're absolutely fantastic together with fantastic chemistry, and one of the great things about them is they can play the comedy, but they can also play the emotional sides of it too. Edward Zwick is very versatile as a director, and he shows that he could do damn near anything. You enjoyed this film, and I enjoyed it too, but it's not nearly as good as 500 Days of Summer, which was last year. But it stands on its own, and it tells a really cool story. I think it's the great thing about this is, like I said, because it's for adults, I mean, it tackles issues you don't really see a lot in rom-coms. It talks about death and disease in a really poignant way. And even though it follows the same kind of predictable lines that you would expect in a rom-com, so you kind of know what's going to happen before it happens, it still really touches your heart. Well, I think it does that more towards the end. The body of the film, it seems to stand alone from a lot of other movies. For me, that's what I found. I also really like that they told a story about a salesman for pharmaceuticals, because I've never seen that before in a film. And it was really interesting. It was really interesting tactic. And Gyllenhaal's personality in the film is fantastic. I love it. Good. And the other thing I liked about it is that it wasn't apologetic about its sexuality. I thought that was they embraced it. They embraced it, and also it shows how people really date these days. How sex doesn't come after they get married. Guess what? If you're conservative, this is not the film for you. Not a good film for conservatives. That's very true. What did you give it? A. You gave it an A? I gave it a B+. Thanks for tuning in to the Purple episode. Yeah, this is the movie jury with Barney and Friends. I'm Christina Stima. And I'm David Budo. Special thanks to Cineplex Odeon Varsity and VIP Cinemas. Tune in this Friday where we'll be interviewing Bjorn Lomborg from Cool It. Thank you for joining us this week again. I'm David Budo, and I'm stuck with this stump. I thought you would roll with the punch and make fun of me. Call me Sasquatch or something. Okay, fine. I will then. And I'm stuck here with this Eddie Murphy wannabe, David Budo. Why'd you say my name? Damn it! You bastard. The characters, the actors, the people, everybody that's in the movie, they all do something, and something does somebody. The script is atrocious. I will never watch this movie again. Die. No, sorry, I just have to do that. That was awesome. 3, 2. I forgot what I was going to start with. 3, 2. Again? I was thinking about the last time. The thing that really sells this film is the solid cocks.
You can't put that in the bloopers.
Love and Other Drugs could be compared to a lot of films of the
Okay.
Let's start again.